Hello everyone. Today I'm going to solo lower Blackrock Spire on a level 70 warrior with green and blue items. The specialization I use on this warrior is a mix of arms and protection. The reason why I spend a lot of points into the arms tree is to get second win, because sometimes these creatures will either stun or root you. I felt like my damage wasn't that high, so I've spent 5 points into the Fury tree to get 5% more crit. And the remaining points I've spent in the protection tree to increase the damage of my Thunderclap, but also my revenge, and even get the spell Last Stand. On this character I currently have 0 gold, and I'm going to render everything that I find, so we can estimate the amount of raw gold we can expect to make every single hour with this farm. A huge reason for why I try to avoid using the auction house is because you will spend a lot of time, and if more people try to do this farm, then you will all of a sudden have a lot of competition when you need to try to sell the different items. So anyway, my main rotation right here is just to spam my revenge and cleave, and of course my Thunderclap whenever it's off cooldown. This is such a simple strategy, and if it's difficult for you to kill these, or well, if you take a lot of damage, then you can always use your Demolition Shout to reduce the attack power. I've also tested this farm with a full protection warrior with the same kind of gear, and I felt like my damage was not that great, and in the end I ended up dying when I pulled the same amount of monsters. Of course, this result might be different if you for example use tier 5, 6 or even Sunwell gear, or maybe even a Brutal Gladiator set. But on a fresh level 70 warrior, I would definitely follow the talent tree that I showed in the beginning of the video. In this clip, some of the monsters once in a while throw a net at me, and when this happens my second win also activates. This is a good thing, because now I will regen a lot of health over the next 10 seconds. In my opinion, second win is so overpowered in this situation, or well overall just in this dungeon, because once in a while you will get stunned or rooted. And as a warrior without second win, well then you don't really have an option to regen health during a fight. In the next room there's going to be so many different enemies, so if it's the first time going in here, then I would recommend you to just take it a bit slow and practice the run. Another thing I find quite useful here is to spam my spell reflection when I'm backpedaling at the same time. And now I'll try to go back to near the lava, because here I can line of sight all the different casters, and when you do this, then they're also forced to get to you. This allows you to cleave all the targets at the same time, even the casters. So make sure to always take advantage of different objects, or maybe even a wall, to line of sight all the casters. One thing you have to be careful about is the debuff up here. This will once in a while do a high amount of damage, so after combat and if you're low on health, then I would recommend you to eat as fast as possible. You can also see this right here, where I go from 6% health to 1% health. So make sure to kill all these enemies as fast as possible so you can start eating. Alright, so when you're back to full health, you can once again pull. Just remember that the debuff is probably active for another 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, that's pretty much just the whole strategy of this dungeon. And like I mentioned, make sure to take advantage of different objects and walls, because right here I once again use a wall and this line of sight all the different casters, making me able to stack them together and do AoE damage to all the different targets. For the rest of this farm, I'll add in some music, and at the end of the video you can also see the raw gold that I made. As you might notice, then the server is about to restart, but this is also a perfect timing because this is where I usually end the dungeon anyway and reset. By the way, before you leave the dungeon, then always make sure to check if there's a chest in this room, because usually there's a high chance that I find one. And if you do this, well, then you also increase the gold that you make. Alright, so now the big question: how much raw gold did I end up making, and what can we expect to make every single hour? By doing one of these runs, I made 56 gold in less than 20 minutes, but we also gotta spend a bit of time logging out and resetting the dungeon, so probably around 56 gold in 20 minutes. This is also equal to 168 raw gold every single hour as a warrior with green and blue items. So if your warrior is decent geared, then you can probably make another 50 to 100 gold every single hour. If you would like to see more pre-patch and Wrath of the Lich King gold making videos, then remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I've also released a gold guide, and this you can find in the description below this video. As always, thank you so much for watching and have an amazing day. Peace.